In this video, I want to cover Lab 31. So basically, it's an introduction about lipids. So lipids is one of the categories of biomolecules that we cover in this class. And really, the main feature with lipids is that these are insoluble in water. And probably the group that we're most familiar with, sort of day-to-day world, are fats and oils. So that's in the category of a triacyl glycerol. Sometimes these are referred to as triglycerides. I'm going to rely on the lecture videos to cover, the bulk of the structural features of really all of these lipids. And that'll give me time just to focus in on the key points for this lab. But briefly, these fats and oils, there's a glycerol backbone, that's 4 carbons. There's an ester functional group connecting a fatty acid to that glycerol backbone. So these are rather large molecules. And you can see, fatty acids, what do they look like? Well, they're really large hydrocarbons that just happen to have a carboxylic acid on one end. Lipids are composed of a fairly diverse group of molecules. And these terms here, these are the different types of lipids. And the reason why I mention these is because that's what you see as type in this first column in part A. If you're uncertain about which each of these types are, then just, search online for it. And I think you can probably also find this appearance online. Odor, honestly, I don't know how well you can find those. Don't worry about the odor. And there's actually no video for this section just because it's pretty simple. We're talking about a bunch of different types of lipids. We've already defined them as things that are insoluble in water. And so really there's nothing to be said for these two columns here except no and yes. These are lipids, so they're just very nonpolar molecules, so they're not going to dissolve in water. You present them with a nonpolar solvent like methylene chloride, and they're going to dissolve. Really, the only video part is dealing with part C here. Now, the bromine test is something that we have seen before. This is where if there's a double bond in a molecule and you add molecular bromine to the solution, then you get this brominated compound and you break that double bond. Now, the observation that you see is that when you add this sample, it's an orange color. And then if the reaction takes place, if there's a double bond in the molecule, in the lipid, then you're going to come out with a colorless solution. This reaction is pretty simple. You'll see it's really fast. Basically, I have a solution of each one of these taken from part A, actually. And then I'm adding 20 drops of bromine into each solution. And the two possible observations, well, does the color fade rapidly or does it persist? So there's two observations that's possible. If the color persists, meaning this reaction does not take place, then you're dealing with a saturated solution, or I should say a saturated fatty acid within the lipid. If the color fades rapidly, then you're dealing with an unsaturated. And those are the labels that you'll add in these columns here. And that's pretty much it. Now basically what you're testing for, you're testing for the degree of unsaturation in these different samples. By the way, just with the notation and the language here, you can anticipate what might happen. And then you can easily look up these two molecules to anticipate what's going to happen as well. But again, it's a really fast video, and I think that's enough. So let's watch the video.